Okay, this is Tim McCure, and I'm going to take you through the RMIT Cybersecurity Risk and Strategy final project. We're going to be talking about risk threats and the mitigation plan. So in lieu of the organisation named Friends Internet, it's experienced a number of breaches. Management and stakeholders require a plan to address the breaches. Friends Internet has a turnover of greater than 3 million Australian dollars and therefore must adhere to the Australian National Database Breach Scheme. The following presentation will outline the cyber risks and threats and the mitigation strategies to be implemented. An initial analysis of threats. So the current status, I'll go through some points on the current status. There isn't a clear cybersecurity framework in place, thus leaving the organisation quite open and unprotected to most threats out there. The Friends Internet organisation is classified as a Tier 1. There's partial implementation because they do have a little bit of major incident management. There isn't any proactivity in relation to cyber risks. It only has a reactive approach to cybersecurity. We're going to talk about the future state. There'll be a range of roles and responsibilities in terms of like the CEO approving scope and budget funding. There'll be a chief of IT and security and delivery operations. There'll be system owners and security practitioners, which were not there before. Roles and responsibilities continued. There will be a major incident manager. They did have that initially. A security training lead. Users will require adherence to cybersecurity procedures and policies post-training. There'll be a head of legal that will play a part in this process, and public relations manager to oversee comms that go out to the public. One of the first priority assets is the file server. It's a moderate to high risk, and the risk treatment plan is to do a range of access management and two-factor authentication password management. The next asset is staff mobile phones, similar, high risk, and the treatment plan for this is to mitigate them via firmware updates and lost phone procedures. The next asset is customer database. It's an extremely high risk. It's very valuable information in there to the company, and there's a risk of USB data transfers on laptops, and the consequences to the business are high, extremely high. The risk treatment plan is by implementing a data loss prevention plan, by implementing tools that restrict users from performing activities such as copying, depending on their role. This is an immediate requirement due to the high risk threat. Thus, the impact of the database breach on the business outweighs the cost of implementation. The ROI is accepted by management. Next asset is company website. So it's extremely high risk, not a lot of maintenance done there, and there's no monitoring. And the risk treatment plan for the company website, the company has advised that they will transfer the risk to a third-party vendor for website maintenance and monitoring. Staff laptops, also high risk. There is only a manual antivirus, no automated scheduling to run antiviruses or update them. And the risk treatment plan is to automate the delivery of signature-based antivirus software and laptop monitoring systems. So we're coming to the control recommendations. Stage 1, reconnaissance for a ransomware threat. So again, management endorsement for a cybersecurity plan. The activities involved are deploying logon password changes and also automating testing of patches and updating network operating system firmwares to make sure that the latest version on the network is installed. Control recommendation stage 1 reconnaissance continued. So preventative training will be rolled out across the company. It's a Tier 1 organisation, so dedicated training lead to socialise all the cybersecurity awareness. Ensuring access is two-factor authentication, but also making sure all networks are up to date and ports that are shut that are facing the internet. Ensuring the incident management or the major incident management response team is equipped to be able to handle this. Making sure all changes to the network have gone through governance forums, but is also documented. Making sure all data that goes through the network is encrypted. All right, control recommendations, stage 2, weaponization and delivery, and stage 3, exploitation, the threat of ransomware. So monitoring traffic for unusual behavior, create a blacklist of the known risky websites that are known to be related to ransomware and block access to those URLs, and continue periodic training of staff comms about the importance of how to stop or cybersecurity, and send out fake but seemingly legitimate emails coming from the company and review what links users click on. Use this to evaluate the user training and report findings to management. Control recommendations stage 2, weaponization and delivery, and stage 3, exploitation continued. So also ensure that network cloud application platform backup procedures are in place and updated, and test the network, including cloud teams and major incident management with a mock ransomware threatens and evaluate how they react. Stage 4 installation of the threat of ransomware. So configure devices to block installation of known ransomware, install analytics applications that analyze data and file activity and block irregular activity, establish zero trust zones on the network that performs deep packet inspection that can impact efficiency of the data flowing through the parts of the network, and the dedicated training lead performing continuous training of all staff of the signs that they may have ransomware on their laptops. Control recommendation stage 5, command and control threat of ransomware. So block ingress from unusual website comms. Set up sinkholes for ransom malicious comms to enter a sinkhole, and the ransomware will be localized there and to stop any further effects, and allow only authorized applications to be able to perform activity on the network or block all other scripted activity. Control recommendation stage 6, actions on the objective on the threat of ransomware. So this is the stage where the hackers are now acting on their objectives. If there's sensitive data, this is where we need to track the sensitive data in the network. If sensitive data seems to be showing irregular behaviors, like being copied to places it doesn't usually be copied to, then block that data from moving via threat intelligence tools. Second point is ensure all applications have granular control, thus all applications and their activity are monitored, and keep monitoring traffic between network zones, looking for irregularity. Okay, the incident response plan in the event of a data breach. So this will cover the roles and responsibilities. The plan will also be to minimize customer impact as much as possible, and it'll outline the processes of stakeholders, organizational teams that will be involved. Incident response plan. The incidents that are covered by this incident are the unauthorized disclosure of confidential data to unauthorized individuals, breach of acceptable use policies of the organization that result in a data breach, security, virus, or malware attacks on a network that result in a data breach, and accidental or inadvertent data leaks by an employee. Assets covered in this plan are the customer database, data that contains names, addresses, and credit card or banking information of customers. Responsible people involved are the CEO, the Chief of IT Security and Delivery Operations, Major Incident Management, System Owner, and Security Practitioners, Security Awareness Trainer, a Head of Legal, and a Public Relations Manager, depending on the incident. At the stage of preparation, all roles involved in Major Incident Management will have to complete some training awareness training. All IT security and system owners and security practitioners will have been trained in all applicable cybersecurity tools. Comms processes will be made aware, and media relations processes will be aware to the CEO. And stakeholders at this stage will be identified, internal or external, and the lists that they're on will need to be reviewed and updated by the Major Incident Management. Create an SLA model for MIM cyber response and restore to gauge MIM performance. Check with Head of Legal about the legal requirements of the NDB scheme and disclosure requirements. Legal to check public comms process. MIM to create a playbook for data breach incident reviewed by all MIM participants, and ensure that a practice mock data breach event has occurred, so all parties are tested to check on their response. When there's a suspected breach, the system owners and the security practitioners will confirm it. Reporting considerations will be reviewed by PR and managed by MIM, internal comms that is, and reporting considerations for external will be reviewed by PR and managed by the CEO. Legal to evaluate whether the police need to be engaged. And in regards to the data breach, legal will advise on notifying appropriate data protection authority within 72 hours and notifying only the individuals at risk of serious harm impacted by the data breach. At the stage of containment and eradication, system owners will act to stop further data being lost, and security practitioners will assist. Legal to evaluate whether the police need to be engaged, and internal stakeholders will be constantly updated. In the recovery stage, so the system owner and the security practitioners will be undertaking restorative activities to see if they can recover any of the data losses and limit the damage caused by the breach. Post After legal and PR checks, the CEO engages media relations process and that the incident and advises that the incident is resolved. Lessons learned is where the major incident manager will invite all active participants to a post-incident review, where they review what through a timeline of what happened and what went wrong and how could they improve on resolving the incident quicker, and is there any mitigation steps that need to be in place. Legal, PR, MIM and IT security review all policies and comms and team performance, and management to review the return on investment of all newly installed cyber-related systems and tools. Thank you.